Hello, we're Team 9A. In this video, we're going to talk about one of the most commonly used tools in project management, the Iron Triangle. The Iron Triangle illustrates and describes the limitations on project success, which are time, cost and quality. It provides a guideline which helps each project manager to lead a team into success. Specifically, we will define the Iron Triangle, discuss its history and background, then apply it to the Sydney Opera House to explain its practical uses in the real world, and lastly, discuss its benefits and drawbacks. First of all, it's important to understand the background of where the Iron Triangle came from. The Iron Triangle can be dated back to 1969 when Dr. Martin Barnes wanted to convey the interrelated relationship between time, cost and quality. He did this by drawing a triangle that emphasised the significance and necessity of integrating and balancing the components, also known as constraints, to improve project control. He said that when fixing one constraint in the triangle will likely have an impact on the other two. So if time is fixed on the triangle, there will be a trade-off in cost and/or quality in order to ensure that the project is delivered on time. For example, if you have limited time to complete an assignment at university, this restricts what you can do, and quality can be traded off in order to get it in on time. Let's start with the meaning of each component in a bit more detail. Cost refers to the budget and resources used throughout the project lifecycle. The project must be rational, so an estimation of budget, resources and human hours are needed to avoid overspending. Time is the plan, schedule and the deadlines for the project. All projects must be delivered within a time frame, but it must be evaluated whether it's realistic to deliver a task in a defined time. Quality is the value of the result or deliverable at the end of the project. Quality is measured dependent on the project, but is normally done so by achieving project goals and benefits over a sustained period of time. Quality is difficult to measure compared to time and cost, as quality is subjective. These triple constraints give project teams the necessary information to make trade-offs that will help the business. So, let's use the Sydney Opera House example to make you more familiar with the Iron Triangle. In 1947, the Australian government believed that Sydney, a leading city, needed a musical facility not only for the symphony orchestra, but also for opera and chamber music groups. So in 1956, the state government held an international competition that attracted 233 entries from 30 countries. The dramatic design by Danish architect John Utzon made him stand out from the crowd. The original cost budget for Sydney Opera House construction was about $7 million. It includes a large hall with 3,000 seats and a small hall with 1,200 seats, each to be designed for different uses and musical activities, such as full-scale operas, orchestras, choral concerts, mass meetings, lectures, and ballet performances. At the beginning, the designer team believed that this historical construction was expected to take about 4 years to finish. The government wished it could be the most important image representing global space, not only on a city, but a whole country and continent. Moreover, being an image of great beauty that's become known around the world. So do you think the Sydney Opera House project succeeded? This is a good question, and you can have lots of reasons to explain why it was successful, also why it failed, which we'll talk about later. So, let us think about why we have to use the Iron Triangle first. It'll help you know why the Sydney Opera House project can be described as a successful project by most people in the public. The reason is simple. It is impossible for any project to have unlimited resources, and we cannot pay all costs, whatever cost or time, just for reaching goals. This is why we have to use the Iron Triangle. The project managers have to assess in advance what resources are vital that cannot be moved or can be. It will directly affect the decision making, even though it is like a poor compromise, but it is the reality. Being a project manager, it is vital to find a balance point under limited resources, time and cost in order to reach project success. In order to find the balance, inevitably, the project managers have to make trade-offs between time, cost and quality during the project definition and design process. Let us have a look at how we can make trade-offs and use the Iron Triangle to define a project success within the Sydney Opera House. From the results perspectives, even though it took longer and cost considerably more than planned, the benefits and influences resulting from the Sydney Opera House let everyone believe it is one of the most successful projects in human history. Today, the Opera House is a busy performing arts centre, home of Opera Australia, the Australian Ballet and the Sydney Symphony. This is what result from trade-off is. It's the prioritisation of the objectives of our project. In other words, a balance and a compromise achieved between two desirable but incompatible features. However, why do some say this is a failed project? From From the cost and time perspectives, it's controversial for lots of people to define this as a successful project, but it was over budget and over time. As the project went on, more problems arose. These issues meant the project was delayed and started to become over budget. Despite the entire project being predicted to cost $7 million, when the Opera House was completed in 1973, the cost amounted to over $100 million and was 10 years over schedule, having been estimated to be completed in 4 years by 1963. Despite these overruns, compromises were not made on the quality, which meant the Opera House is an incredibly successful and profitable project. In 2013, it was estimated the Sydney Opera House was worth $4.6 billion and contributes $775 million annually to the Australian economy. The Sydney Opera House is a good example to use to understand that if one or two aspects of the Iron Triangle are compromised, it does not always mean the project is a failure. In most projects, compromises have to be made on the constraints of the triangle. A bad project compromises on all constraints, will overrun on time and cost and deliver a poor final product. However, while some projects may overrun one or two constraints, this does not result in the project being unsuccessful. This also highlights a flaw of the Iron Triangle. The quality is difficult to measure. Everyone is objective, and there are lots of measurements on the quality such as business profits, influence, and so on. So, what are the benefits of using the Iron Triangle when working on projects? The easy answer is knowing about the constraints of the Iron Triangle can help in making more effective decisions regarding the project. It will also allow the project manager to more efficiently allocate the resources that result in optimal project outcome. A project is a goal-orientated and time-limited activity. Ultimately, if a project keeps within the constraints of the Iron Triangle, you stand a good chance of the final quality of the project being a success. Moreover, once you learn how to apply them in your enterprise project management process, you'll find that these tools will actually make your projects run more smoothly. With a better understanding of your limitations and flexibilities ahead of time, you can avoid costly setbacks. The Iron Triangle can help ensure you select the right project management software, create processes, and set up your production so that your team can hit the ground running. Now let's move to constraints. You can have control of only two of the three factors. Atkinson described the Iron Triangle as two best guesses at a phenomenon. Quality is a phenomenon, an emergent property of people's different attitudes and beliefs, which changes over the development life cycle of a project. Time and costs are at best only guesses calculated at a time when least is known about the project. If you deliver on two constraints of the Iron Triangle, you have little control over the third. Simply put, a product that is delivered quickly and at low cost won't be of quality. A product delivered quickly and to a high quality won't be cheap, and a product delivered to a high quality but cheaply won't be made quickly. Secondly, the original model was derived from a waterfall approach to product development. Most projects now are very complex and don't follow this waterfall approach. A project is emergent, which means risks may arise unexpectedly and plans can change. Subsequently, the use of the Iron Triangle may be best suited for all types of projects, and a more adaptable framework may be more sufficient. Project managers should consider softer factors like communication, personal motivation, and social expectations. Sometimes throwing money and extra time at a project often makes things worse, so stakeholder communication is key. There is no doubt that the Iron Triangle can intensely aid a project manager to carry out a successful project, but it is not enough for only three factors to define project success. There are lots of other factors that can be used to define project success. Shenhar questioned the Iron Triangle's thoroughness and came up with a multidimensional model of project success. This consists of four categories to represent the standards for project success. The first, project efficiency. Like the Iron Triangle, this is the measure of meeting the schedule and the budget goals. Second, the impact on customer. This includes several criteria such as meeting functional performance and customer satisfaction. Next is business success, and this is measured through a commercial success of the project and how big of a market share is created. And lastly, preparing for the future. This consists of developing new technology, creating a new market, and creating a new product line. While the Iron Triangle creates a basic standard for project success, the multidimensional model provides other elements of success that may go unnoticed from the Iron Triangle. Let's recall what we have learned from the Iron Triangle. During the project process, it is a useful tool for project managers to manage the constraints in order to achieve project success. It is composed of time, cost, and quality. From the Sydney Opera House case study, we can see that there is no perfect project in real business. Any project has limited resources, so the project managers have to make trade-offs. Moreover, motivation, communication, and softer factors play an increasing role in project success, such as new technology and new customer needs have already not just been decided by triple constraints. Nowadays, we have to carefully consider softer factors more and find the best balance in project management. Don't forget there is no 100% perfect project in reality, but each project can definitely be a good project.